straw.
Okay, Mr. Nowotny, would you call the roll, please?
Okay. Commissioner Sack?
Here.
Commissioner Salanitro called. He is away and will not be at the meeting. Commissioner Feinstein?
Here.
Commissioner Pilla also called. He has another meeting conflict.
Well, they have I think they have a special board meeting.
Right, exactly. And then Commissioner French?
Here.
Commissioner Carvin?
Yes. Okay, any comments on the minutes from the last meeting?
I do.
Yep.
The only thing that is item number 9, new business, the first draft of the 2012 fee schedule was included in the commissioner's packet. I don't think that was the case.
That's not the case.
Yes.
What was included was the 2011
Exactly.
fee schedule, which then the commissioners could use as a baseline
Yeah,
to
but it
jump
was,
off
yeah.
from. That's
So-
correct. You're
So the
absolutely
first
right.
draft.
So
that
we'll
should
just
be
call it
deleted.
D. That's it. We'll eliminate the first draft up
Yeah.
and make it 211.
Yep.
All right, so it'll read the 211 fee schedule is included.
I don't think we even discussed it, so if you want to delete the whole thing.
And Bishop, as you know, I was not present at this meeting, and I haven't seen it or heard it, so I wouldn't be able to
It's not taped.
vote either way.
Right.
It wasn't
It was
taped,
not taped.
so... Excuse me.
It was well, what was
It's a shame
it?
because
It was a
it was one of our better
rescheduled
meetings.
Right. It was a rescheduled meeting, and we couldn't get the videographer or the audio guy
He's
to
having
be
a
here.
particularly good hair day that day, so... Okay, comments from the public? Goldie?
We need a motion to approve.
Oh, I apologize,
I'll do a
sorry.
motion to approve with that one
As
change,
amended.
as
With- as
amended.
amended.
What, Dolly?
Okay.
Oh, we're
No,
just
I
voting on the
all in
minutes,
favor?
Goldie.
Okay.
Sorry, Goldie, yep.
Okay. There's a few important things that have to be taken care of. I see the same thing is happening here. It's the Rye Town Oakland Beach Park. It is not just Rye Town
Actually,
Park.
let's just-
They're not the only park
There's no...
that Rye Town owns.
Is there any reason
Okay,
why we
that's
can't...
number
Does the
one.
commission have
Well, the
any
New
problem
York
with-
State law has empowered the Rye Town Park Commission. It has not empowered the Rye Town Park Oakland
can't-
Beach
can't we-
Commission.
That's not the
Well,
point.
Hold on. Sorry. Can we-
That's
no,
not the point.
Hold on. Can we
You
put on-
represent the people.
Hold on. Can we put underneath Oakland Beach? So the commission members in our, where we
Sure.
have Rye Town Park, we put
We
Oakland Beach below
underneath?
that?
On the minutes?
Well,
No,
we
we're
have
doing-
Rye Town Crawford
Just on the
Park
agenda?
also.
On the agenda.
Yes,
On the agenda sheets? That sounds like a great idea.
That's a great.
Okay.
French?
There's
Okay,
Rye
so
Town,
next month we'll have that for you.
Rye Town
Be the
Crawford
the
Park
holiday season.
and Rye Town Oakland Beach Park.
Okay.
That's the way it should be.
Not Crawford Park, because we don't have jurisdiction over Crawford Park.
No, but he does.
Yeah.
No, but
Rye
we-
Town does.
But this is
But it's Rye Town.
No, see,
No,
Goldie, this is the Rye Town Park Commission. So this commission only deals with Rye Town Park, which, as you point out, is...
Rye Town Parks.
No.
You have two parks.
No, Rye Town does, but this commission only deals with one of the two parks.
How come?
Because Rye Town itself, if you come to our next board meeting, the Rye Town Board is fully responsible for Crawford Park.
That's correct. They belong. The people are paying for it, so
No, yes, they are.
come
paying-
on.
yes,
They
No,
pay for
actually,
everything
no.
in Rye Town.
No, but
So
the different-
the
the
Rye
different-
Town parks that the people have to understand. There are two parks in Rye Town. Rye Town Oakland Beach Park, Rye Town Crawford Park.
no, but the
The
difference
people
is
go to.
no. The difference is what we're here this evening for Rye Town Park or Oakland Beach. That is paid for by the
people.
town of Rye. No, it's different people. The town of Rye and also the city of Rye. The city of Rye doesn't make any contributions or have any responsibility for Crawford Park. Only
That's
the
fine,
town
but
of
the
Rye.
people of Rye Town do, and I'm from Portchester,
Right.
and we do.
But
we are in Rye Town. Rye Town is over Portchester, and we're villages, you have to remember.
Sure.
And so we're two villages, Rye Brook and Portchester, under Rye Town. But all the people are paying for everything that's in Rye Town, and in
But
Rye
they-
Brook and in Portchester.
But when it comes to the park that's owned by Rye Town, it's different. It's more than just the people of Rye Town who's responsible. It's also the city of Rye. And that's what makes it complicated.
Well,
You're
it's
right.
in the city of Rye.
No, the city of Rye is
But
responsible.
also, Crawford Park is in the village of
That's correct.
of Rye Brook.
I think you're absolutely correct. It's just that who has the responsibility, which taxpayers are not the same.
It's
You'll
not the
notice
taxpayers. Why? When we go to Oakland Beach, we have to pay.
Well,
We pay for parking, so we still pay to go to Oakland Beach Park.
Yeah, Ms. Solomon, we do have a special item on the agenda for the town meeting for Crawford Park. And Crawford Park issues are typically discussed at the town meeting.
No, we're talking about the Park Commission, right here.
No, okay.
And this is the Park Commission that takes care of parks.
no,
No.
Sorry, if they don't, then I'm
No.
sorry.
no, they don't. We don't.
And it should
Not
say
corporate.
Rytown Oakland Beach Park,
Right.
because that's all it
That's
is.
right.
That's what we should say.
Okay, then
Good.
the other thing is, I want you to be aware of that we need more bands there, we need more music there,
Yep.
under the pavilions, and I haven't heard about that. We also, the pavilions are for people, so when the people come, they're entitled to listen to music there. Sometimes Seaside Johnny's takes over the pavilions, and we have a problem because we can't use the pavilions. But that's unfair. So, please, I also would like to know whether the dogs are under control. Because dogs, when I was there, they were unleashed, a lot of them during the, not maybe during the season, but off-season, and the dogs are running loose. And they were running loose on the beach, and they were running loose in the park, and I just don't know if they're under control. Okay? I'd like to tell you something. Commissioners who do not attend your meetings should send someone else because they represent the people. And the people are entitled to know in each village what's going on. And only the people that represent the village and the people can tell them. But if there's nobody here to represent Portchester, how are the people supposed to know? How do they know? If you don't show up, how is Rye Brook going to know? If you don't show up, or he doesn't show up, how is Rye City going to know? Nobody will know. And therefore, someone should come from each community to represent the people so the people would know. Because this is on television. And if there's nobody here to represent the people from a community, and they see it on television, what good is it?
Yeah, for Mayor Pilla, they did have a special board meeting, so he did send a note that nobody from his board could attend tonight.
Right.
I can't hear you, so it doesn't make any difference.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
I didn't hear you.
Okay. I can restate it.
Well, you're not... I don't hear you. I don't hear you. Okay, so
I think,
please.
No, Mayor Pilla sent us a note, and he said that they had a special board meeting and no one from his board could attend tonight.
I'm aware that they have a Portchester meeting at the Portchester Senior Center. It's been in the papers and everything else. Okay, but because he knew about it, he should send somebody to represent the people. If he couldn't come, there's a whole bunch of board members that he could have asked. And if he couldn't have asked them, he should have asked somebody from Portchester to come and represent the people. But he didn't. And I don't think that's fair.
okay, and I think that the only problem, I think Mayor French is pointing out, and I think in Mayor Pilla's defense, since the whole of the board had to be present at their other meeting, it was difficult to do as you suggest for this evening's activities.
We don't hear you. Is that turned on?
So, any other comments from the public?
That's better.
Any other comments from the public? Please.
Hi. Linda Wells with Friends of Rytown Park. I'm here tonight just to bring you up to date on a few things. You may already know that we and the park are sharing some costs to fertilize roughly 50 trees for the preparation of the rigors of winter, and that should take place within the next week or two. Bartlett, who is going to handle that, has been extremely busy with the aftermath of the storms. So they're in a catch-up mode, and they'll get to us as soon as they can, but they're going to do it before the ground freezes, so we'll be fine. And while they do that, they'll also do an assessment of the trees that had large branches fall from them, because some of them are older trees in the, the northeast corner, up near Rye Beach Avenue.
Northwest.
Thank you. they sustain most of the damage, so they'll take a look at that to see if the integrity of the tree was compromised as best they can assess at the same time. The Friends are also going to be meeting with Bishop and Bill Lawyer starting on November 29th to discuss a game plan for the duck pond moving forward, not only in terms of the water treatment and maintenance aspect of it, but Friends has a few ideas in terms of mitigating the pooling of the water and some aesthetic things that could be done, including something that would have to be approved by the commission, but more of a policy thing about feeding the ducks, which is contributing to some of the pollution and the algae growth in the pond. Not that it be eliminated, but maybe with signage could be encouraged to be reduced, and at the very least use a feed that's appropriate for the animals with a feeding station that we're looking into as a possibility. So that I would imagine that'll be an ongoing thing over the winter, so that come the spring, we have a game plan to present to you to see what makes sense so that we avoid the algae bloom, to the extent that we've seen it in the last 2 years. Moving forward, the Friends is a little confused in terms of the scope of the mission and responsibility of advisory committees and how we fit into the mix. We do have some things that we would like to start tackling next season, vis-a-vis, the beginning of a real master plan that we'd like to share with you, not at a regular commission meeting because you're so pressed for time, but maybe just talk to you conceptually in a roundtable discussion just to get a feeling from the commission as to whether those are the types of things that you think could happen, and so that we can then make plans accordingly and investigate schematics, funding, all of the things that go into that.
I think that's a wonderful suggestion. Should we try and figure out a date for that?
Pardon me?
Should we figure out a date for that roundtable discussion?
It's totally up to you. It would be at your discretion because you have such commitments with other meetings. So a Saturday morning is a possibility, an evening, whatever.
Well, we were talking about doing a community forum, and with the Rye Town Park Advisory Board, co-sponsored. That maybe we do a forum in the first part of the meeting, and then we do the strategic plan that you discussed.
Yeah, because I know that there's an advisory committee that's been in existence, but we've yet to really be contacted by anybody. So we'd like to reach out to whoever these groups are.
Well,
so that
Ann Muller's is part of the Friends, right?
Yes.
She's the designated appointee on the advisory board, so the coordination should be through her. But, if the Friends wanted to co-sponsor the forum, right, it would be sponsored by the commission, the Friends, and the advisory board.
Sure. Has there been any date set for that? I think that was something that was supposed to happen in October or September. And
we had talked about it, and then there was just difficulty finding a date. And so I think one of the things we'll look to do tonight would be to suggest a date and find a date.
Yep.
Yeah, because I think in terms of an open community forum, it might be a little premature for that. It's something that we would like to talk to an advisory group and the commission in concert.
Right.
To say these are the types of things we're thinking about, some of which overlap to the laundry list that Lisa Easton prepared for you.
Right.
Some may involve a little bit of a capital improvement situation in addition to, the landscaping and horticultural aspect of things.
Yeah, I'm just saying while we're all there, we'll have the
great.
forum, and then we can break away after with the smaller subset.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Either way, but I'd like to have that meeting sooner rather than later. I think it's a wonderful suggestion.
Okay.
And if we can coordinate it, fine. But if we can't, I'd love to have. We should. Do we want to try and think of some dates now?
We're going to have a venue issue, and that's going to drive.
Well, actually, I'm really anxious to have. I think we do have a number of committees, and I think it's important to coordinate everybody to make sure the scope and vision are clear. And I think that's a wonderful suggestion, especially as we. Well, look, I'm very pleased and honored that we have another 4-year mandate and want to think about, it gives us an opportunity to think strategically about what we'd like to achieve over the next 4 years, and I think the timing is perfect. And I know certainly Rice City has a number of capital expenditure concerns, and of course we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. So I don't know if people know their schedules and agendas now, or but I think I'd like to focus on getting the Friends and the Advisory Committee and the Commission together for a conversation, and the community can come before or after, and maybe even after, because then we'll...
Sure.
The only thing is, I already have dates in December. We will have so many commitments for
Yep.
holidays. Is it possible that we could do this in the new year, at the beginning, maybe right after the new year, when people are back from holidays and vacations and the like?
Well, I know I could make it during the week as well. I don't know
Well, we're
if
talking
you-
about a community, if you're
No,
talking...
there's two different things. I think Linda's suggesting is
Is
we
do
meet
it
with the
separate.
Friends Advisory Committee and the Commission. And I would, if at all possible, I'd like to try and do that before the end of the year to kick things off. If it's not possible, I understand that.
Right.
But I don't think it has to be on a Saturday. Or I don't know what people's schedules look like. Pretty tight, I appreciate.
Well, evenings, during the week evenings,
When's our next?
there may be opportunities.
When's our next meeting here?
Our next meeting here is 12/20, third Tuesday of December.
Right. Well, why don't we try? We'll coordinate with the board. We'll try and get something.
Okay.
Just getting the schedule, if at all possible.
That'd be
I'd like
great.
to do that.
That would be great, because we'd like to, we're actually now in the discussion stage of planning a fundraiser early in March, so if we can get into the discussion stage with you earlier, that really sets us up the right
Sure.
way.
Are you still going to do the dinner this year? Or are you doing something different?
Something different.
Oh, cool. Okay, good.
So, and later in the year.
Yep, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So,
Excellent.
it.
Thank you, Linda. Thanks so
Okay.
much.
So you'll throw out some dates, Bishop?
Yeah, I'll follow up with the commission as far as the smaller meeting.
We have budget workshops and we're
Yeah,
working
sure,
through
yeah.
our budgets.
Now, are we okay to try and schedule the community conversation meeting sometime early in January?
Yes.
That would be acceptable?
On a Saturday.
On a Saturday.
Actually, the first January would be great in a way, because...
January 1st?
All right.
No, the first...
First Saturday,
yeah,
right.
because I think the weekend after that is Martin Luther King, and some people go away for that.
Right.
I think I have my dates wrong.
The only concern I have is a venue. Now, we're
That's
certainly not
correct.
going to meet in the pavilions at Rytown Park. I'm assuming we would like to get a venue in Rye.
The Damiano Center.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Is it large enough? Remember, we had over 100 people the last conversation.
Yeah, no, we have a large room. I'll see if it's
Okay.
available.
All right, terrific.
Joe, I just want to remind you of something. Rytown Oakland Beach Park was there well before Rye became a city. So you have to remember, you've had that more years than they became a city. And you've been taking care of that for God knows how long. So you have to keep that in mind, that Rytown Oakland Beach Park actually belongs to Rytown because it was there before Rye was a city. Okay? It was part of Rytown, not separated.
Okay, I think at this point, though, obviously, we're sharing expenditures.
Yeah, but that's new.
Right.
And this goes back years and years and years and years that Rytown has taken care of Oakland Beach.
No. Any other comments from the public?
I have a comment.
Please, yeah.
I'm
Please.
a public.
Yeah, please.
You alluded before 4 more years, so I want to congratulate the gentleman to the right and the
Thank you.
gentleman to the left to say that I look forward to continuing to work with you. Congratulations on your reelection.
Thanks very much. Thank you, Mayor Feinstein. Okay, Mr. Joffrey, do you have a manager's report?
Yeah, there isn't much of a manager's report because we're in the off-season.
Yep.
But I mentioned at the last meeting that we've been putting together a year-round manual. Bill is now working with,
Greg Arcaro.
yes, Greg. And so we're moving forward with that. We'll have it in your hands soon. The winterization was done. All of you should have a copy of the report.
Yep.
The last of the seasonal maintenance workers are are terminated till the beginning of next year. We did have some tree damage from the storms, but not quite as much as a lot of other people. We just had limbs falling, which we've cleaned up and removed. Now, the Town of Rye and Friends of Rytown Park have been discussing a deep root fertilization treatment. There's been a proposal made and a contract done about our stressed trees in the park. So the work was to have begun in October, but it was put off due to the snowstorm. Capital improvement items, I don't have the list with me. They totaled about $402,000. Bishop has a copy of that. Bill had made some, I was away for a while, but Bill had made some priorities on that, namely the ramps and the showers, among a couple of other, the sand, replacement of the sand, along with a couple of other items, but you should all have a
Can we take
copy
2
of that.
seconds to talk about this? I know, Mayor French, you sent us a copy of the real property tax law and had some comments. I want to give you an opportunity. Maybe just talk a little bit about this right now, if we could.
No, I think that from the Comptroller's office, it's pretty clear. Capital projects are included in the cap. We have, in the City of Rye, $30 million budget. Our property tax levy is $20 million. If we were to raise that, you're talking about $400,000. Our capital budget this year will strictly be about $285,000 to do road repair. To do anything above and beyond that, we would have to override the tax cap. So unless we can fund capital projects out of our revenues next year, I think we're really hard pressed to take something from this list and, get it done.
Your road resurfacing is 285?
That's our CHIPS contribution. I mean, that's what's in the plan right now. We have to deliberate and go through the process, but we're not talking about big dollars at all.
Yeah, it's a real problem. Your first step at that, as they say, we will start
The Village of Rybrook will start our budget hearings in March, and so you're ahead of us. It's a real problem with the capital expenditures, because for municipalities, like the town of Rye Park, for the Rytown Park, you have capital expenditures, also equipment and the like, which is included. In our case, we're talking about fire equipment and police cars and the like. It's really problematic without mandate relief and without carve-outs.
And we've gone back and forth with the Controller's Office for flexibility, and they're rigid in the process because we're taxing authorities and they say tax the public.
And also the legislature has been, I will say it, irresponsible. The fact, I've said it, I'm against a 2% tax cap without some sort of mandate relief. And speaking to our legislators, one of who voted against the tax cap, and that's Assemblyman George Latimer, he said the reason he didn't, because it did not come with mandate relief. So when you're talking about infrastructure and capital improvements and the like, and it's very difficult, to say the least.
So,
Anyhow,
it's
gloom and doom.
It's gloom and doom, and I agree with your response. I couldn't agree more about the lack of mandate relief. In terms of the practicalities, Mayor French, so does that mean Rye City's not in a position to make any capital expenditures at this point, or what do you suggest? I mean, I saw some email traffic. Here as part of our list, you can see the automatic arms we talked about, those kinds of things. And I'm just trying to understand, are we delaying to see what your final budget looks like, or which we can certainly accommodate, or are you sort of saying that there's no capital expenditure budget and we'll just have to try and eke it out from next year's operating? Help me just in terms of this commission, how we should...
No, I'm saying right now there's nothing from Rytown Park in the plan. If we wanted to do $40,000 in the automatic arms, right? 20,000 from Rytown, 20,000 from Rye City. That's either going to come from discussions with the city manager to say, how can you guys incorporate the 20,000, or it's going to have to come from operations revenue from next year.
Right, okay. And so,
Through cuts and-
I know,
Or-
I know
right.
Mr. Pickup and Mr. Nowotnik were trying to get together, didn't get a chance to get together for today's session, so should we have them try and get together and see? I think if that would be helpful, then, Mr. Nowotnik, if you could meet with Mr. Pickup and prioritize from this $409,000 list, and then obviously, as the capacity frees up, if any, we'll know what we can do. And obviously, we should break this down, obviously, Rye City, Rye Town, this list, just to make it clear. It sounds like you may have some money, but certainly a whole lot.
Right, and we have to prioritize it. In the case of the arms, you're going to get a give back, right? There'll be some savings, so that's a discussion we have to have, but I wouldn't assume that it's going to be in there unless there's discussion.
Well, there's also, and I'm not quite sure how this works, but the concept of if the work needs to get done, for example, that bathroom building and the roof on that bathroom building, just go by it, take a look at it. We are dangerously close to having a problem there. That 150 is going to have to come fairly soon. I'm saying within the next 2 years or so, before that building starts to suffer irreparable type damage. The possibility of the annual cost, if you're amortizing this, the annual cost is a much more palatable number, particularly, for example, on the roof scenario where you're doing a 30-year amortization. The cost to each municipality, each entity, is relatively small. And the possibility that could somehow be funded in that fashion. I don't know that bonding necessarily is required. What we're talking about is debt service contribution on a capital basis. So, for example, if, let's just say, Rye Town did the borrowing, at that particular point, the capital portion gets assessed to the city of Rye on an annual basis. I don't know if that's conceivable, but that makes the number a much, much smaller number and allows us to perhaps go forward with some capital projects. I mean, understand, if you're looking to fund this out of revenues, it's been 20 years since there have been revenues. I mean, there haven't been revenues, and that's why nothing has been done on the capital side.
Well, Rye Town is going to have the same problems. I mean, obviously, the individuals in every municipality have the ability by a local law to override. But the same thing that even if the Rye Town, then every municipality makes that decision, depending upon their own circumstances, facts and circumstances.
All I'm looking for is perhaps a creative solution, because the capital side of the equation keeps getting put off, and I see this leaning in that direction as well. And again, I understand the tax cap problem, but the building doesn't.
Well, I think, good point. I think that we really have to put Mr. Joffrey, we need to put together a, super prioritized list.
We understand that.
And one, and two, maybe we can, Mr. Terenzi could be at that meeting as well, and I think we just need to have a comprehensive memo with various options for the commission to consider next week, and obviously that should be vetted with Rye City ahead of the December 20th meeting. The other thing, as we've been talking about for a long time, is this public-private partnership and sort of strategic committee that we want to create. Because what's very clear is, look, there's no way, with the tax constraints that we have, we're going to be able to make any kind of material capital investment in the park, which is greatly needed, which I think we're all agreed to. We really have to be as proactive as the Children's Museum Committee and these people have been so successful at raising private funds, and maybe partly with the strategic plan from the Friends, I don't know, but ultimately.
Is there anything on the list for under $500?
In fact, I still got to get my wine and cheese from last year. I forgot it. But we really have to, and I think if we've sort of talked about this committee, but I think we really need each of us come up with recommendations for the Public-Private Partnership Committee and look to form it next meeting as well, because we really got to get them cracking if we're going to begin to address this very serious problem. Please,
well, thank you, Mr. Carvin. I don't want to repeat what Mayor French said, but I do want to support what he said, because just to reiterate, the City of Rye, in its proposed 2012 budget, does not have a capital project budget. We are not funding a single capital project, except for some roads that have to be repaved, but that's money that's coming from the federal government, not from the City of Rye's budget, not from our tax dollars. So when we're not